nightmare.
Hello and welcome to Cinema Subculture, the podcast where we discuss everything strange, obscure and downright messed up in the world of movies. My name's Gary.
And I'm Simon. Welcome to episode 24. My Bloody Valentine 1981, directed by George
Mahalka.
That'll do.
Canadian
Canadian,
slasher.
yeah, Canadian film, yeah, definitely. Canadian film, although marketed as an American film, I believe, as an American production, I believe, but not one of the video nasties as I thought it may have been last episode. However, pretty heavily cut. Yeah, in its time. Do you want to give us a rundown of the old plotterino?
So the film is set in a town called Valentine Bluffs, a mining community.
This is right.
Well, in the past, there'd been a sort of mining disaster.
That's right.
What was it? A number of miners had been trapped
Trapped
down the
under the mine.
after an explosion.
For like two days or something, wasn't it? 6 weeks?
Yeah.
We had a discussion about when we were watching it.
Well,
I thought it was like 6 nights, 6 days.
Yeah, so one survived, but
Right.
had to resort to cannibalism.
I don't know if he had to resort. I think he chose to. He looked pretty happy when he came out that hole. Mr. Harry Warden, I believe, yes.
So, and I wasn't too pleased about the whole experience, so
No.
had to enact some revenge.
Yeah, he blamed the heads of the mine because they were at a Valentine's dance.
Partying away.
Bunch of wankers. See the bureaucrats, man. What?
Yeah, so since that event, there hasn't been any of the dances.
That's
and
right.
that.
So he went on a murder spree, sorry, aye.
Yeah.
Then they stopped him somehow.
Yeah, but 20 years later, I think it's time. It's time for the.
Well, it's a while ago, isn't it?
Yeah.
You think, like, nobody even remembers it, really.
Well, a whole generation. Almost.
Nobody seems to remember it, except for one,
just wanting to party.
like, crazy bartender who seems to want to tell everybody about it. Yeah. Aye, safe enough, guy, you'd think, yeah?
But it seems he returns.
Well.
Or is it? Is it old Harry? Or
Well, I mean, the clues are there. I mean, the candy box full of actual heart.
yeah.
The tumble-dried woman. Not kind of commonplace for a build-up to a Valentine's dance. Not your usual prankage, But yes, he seems to return, and he's threatening to do the same again if they don't stop the dance.
Yeah.
So, Gary, what do you think of this one?
To be honest, it's a film where you just kind of say it was all right. It's it's a fairly solid genre piece, but there's nothing spectacular about it. Nothing absolutely terrible, but it's just kind of hits the old genre beats there and gives you kind of what you want, I guess. But it's not a film to shout about, in my opinion.
I mean, it's kind of held. I mean, I think Quentin Tarantino actually is quoted as saying this is his favourite slasher film.
Right, yeah.
I enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it.
Right.
I did enjoy it. It was because it was quite close to like your Friday the 13th and Halloween. It wasn't to the point where it was so diluted. The slasher. It still felt. I think it still feels kind of sincere enough in its approach. Yeah. Having not ever seen it before, because so it's not like seeing like some of the slashers we've seen that are later 80s, and like are really kind of that type. It's quite nice to see one that was back near the beginning.
Yeah, it was.
But which I've never seen before.
Kind of the first run heyday of slashers.
Definitely.
Right.
I did enjoy it. I thought some of the acting was really dodgy, but some of it was really good and quite entertaining. And I mean, the sheriff and I mean, again, I'm not saying it's a good film or there's anything special about it, but as I say, I quite enjoyed it. As slashers go, it's definitely pretty good. It's pretty fun to watch. I was quite impressed with the aforementioned woman falling out the washing machine tumble dryer. I thought that was quite clever. Apparently some of the this was sometimes the first time these special effects had been done. These kinds of special effects have been done. The guy who done them apparently he now makes blood. After this, he got asked to make different types of blood for different productions.
Alright.
And that's what he's got a company that still does that to this day, that makes different types of blood for like different. He said different. He didn't say productions. He said different like uses, and I was thinking like, you mean film uses? Yeah, you know. So I mean, the effects are really good in this, and as I say, some of the acting, the leads, it's better than some slashers, most slashers I've seen.
Right.
Even like more recent ones. Some of it. So I quite like the scene between the main guy, what's his name, TJ and Sarah,
right,
when they're on the beach and stuff. I thought that was quite sincere and kind of not really mocking. That could have been any film really at that point. But I enjoyed it, but nothing stand out from. I can see why it's not necessarily as remembered as like the big three.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not. Doesn't reach the depths of the kind of ones that came after it that were really naff. In the Blu-ray, there's some introduction to the deleted scenes and stuff that was cut. I guess it's more like it plays like more like how we did these special effects kind of as intros. I thought it was going to be about why they were cut, maybe.
Okay.
But the director talks about. On one hand, he's talking about it feels the reasons behind it. Them making the film were more like it kind of almost like makes it sound like they were going for a kind of highbrow approach to it, like because it gets like slated for being like kind of gratuitous violence, but he's saying, you know, we definitely weren't trying to say that like violence is good. I mean, none of the violence in the film looks fun, you know. You know, kind of giving it that. And the way he kind of brings it across is as if he was trying to justify that it was maybe there's more substance there than maybe would appear.
Right.
But in the next one of the next segments, he says that basically this film was only made because of the special effects that they were trying to do.
Right. Okay.
And so it's kind of like quite contradictory. I don't know where he's coming from with that.
Right.
I mean, these films are what they are. I mean, you just said they literally were just going through the calendar.
Yeah. I mean, how familiar are you with the sort of canon slashers?
How do you mean?
Like, well, Halloween, Friday the 13th. Then you've got like I made a wee list.
Okay.
Like Black Christmas.
You've seen
it.
See, that's one that's like I watched that at Christmas.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed that.
Right.
I thought that was really good. And that's when like I can understand how this maybe get lost through time. You know, into the kind of minutiae of the slasher.
Right.
Whereas Black Christmas, I think, still works really well.
Right.
In my opinion, as a slasher and kind of almost like a pre-slasher.
Yeah, I think that was like 75.
Yeah, like it feels very like kind of like, you know how they talk about post-Scream, you know, slashers and you know and it feels like a kind of post-Psycho slasher. Okay. You know what I mean? Right, it still feels kind of traditional in that sense. Sorry, on with your list.
Prom Night.
Seen that? Aye.
Right.
That wasn't very memorable for me.
Right, okay.
I'd need to see it again, but I saw it back in the day when I was into my kind of Halloween, and then Jamie Lee Curtis was in that, and all this and stuff like that. But it was okay.
Okay. Happy Birthday to Me.
Never seen that.
Graduation Day.
No.
April Fool's Day.
No, I've actually I recorded Happy Birthday to Me, thinking it was April Fool's Day, like because I knew the kind of rough plot of April Fool's Day, but I haven't seen either of them.
I think that's the main kind of day calendar.
Day. Yeah, right. Okay. So
then you get like some camp movies, like The Burning or Sleepaway Camp.
Oh yeah, Sleepaway Camp is one I want to see.
Right.
The Burning is just been actually released by Shout Factory.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that.
Yeah. But I've only seen Black Christmas and Prom Night out of that lot. What about you?
I haven't seen any of them.
That's great.
So it doesn't do the final girl, which is a slasher convention, really.
No.
Because really, she kind of gets saved by TJ, that was the sort of main female character.
Yeah. It kind of it comes down to the two of them, doesn't it? And usually you would definitely suspect that one of them would get offed. I think that's because that they're trying to play off the who is the killer.
Yeah.
By that point, you kind of you kind of know that it's not Harry, because they found out that he died in the mental institution.
Yeah. There does seem to be that there's sort of two types.
Yeah.
Where there's the slasher film like Halloween Friday, where you're kind of you know who the killer is. Then there's the whodunit type, which is more of these.
Yeah, kind of almost coming to like the kind of giallo like tropes, you know.
Bear blood.
Yeah.
Were you surprised with the whodunit? I mean, to me, it seemed like
Had to be one of them, didn't it?
I
didn't know who else was it going to be.
Yeah, it would have been better if it was Harry. I think.
Aye, well, that's something I was going to talk about because it's like, it almost feels like a sequel. You know, in the way that it talks about the last guy, and like, I mean, anyone who's seen Friday the 13th Part 5, they kind of pull this a bit,
right?
But I feel that it works better than that, because you don't know quite what's happening. Because there's issues of like, is it mental health induced? Is it, you know, like you just, you know, it's basically someone's seen Jason, and you don't know whether he's really there or not.
Right. Okay.
But so in Halloween, like you kind of know from the start that it's Michael Myers. Yeah, and they say Michael Myers has escaped from the thing, and it's him, right? Friday the 13th, not so much. They don't really know who it is. I mean, it's kind of implied. It's not even really implied that it's Jason in the first one.
No. Although, because you assume it's a male.
Yeah,
because of the way it's shot and the boots and all that.
That's true. So you don't really know who it is. That's quite clear that that's a proper, you know, that's a real whodunit because you don't really know who it is.
Right. Aye.
It's not like they think Jason's come back or it's even mentioned or anything like that. Whereas this, it's like it's said that it's Harry and he did it before.
Yeah.
And he isn't. They can't seem to find him at the mental institute, which is a laughable scene when the woman won't even get up off her ass to check the microfilm, which is in the next building or whatever. And then like they pull it, you know. So it's quite early on in the slasher tropes to do that. I mean, even in like Psycho when they did it with like Mrs. Bates, I kind of knew going in. I don't know how I would react. What would I thought if I would have thought it was really Mrs. Bates that was doing it?
Well, that's the kind of the switch because there's that Hitchcock kind of talked about whodunits once, and like he was saying he did one. It was a kind of pure whodunit earlier in his like British period. I think it was Murder, but he said he didn't like it. He wouldn't do one again.
Right.
Because the problem with whodunits is the audience is just wondering who it is rather than like emoting. He says like they're not kind of engaged in it. They're just kind of it might be him. It's a kind of more kind of superficial like reaction to it.
See, I remember I saw like Psycho the remake first, because it was out at the cinema and I was like 12 or 13. No, I was older than that because it was out. I don't know what age I was, but as I say, I didn't. To me, like you knew getting into that. I knew getting into that, having never even seen Psycho. What the kind of
Psycho, it's so kind of ingrained in the culture.
So like Vince Vaughn didn't pass as a non-Psycho guy ever for me in that film. So, but I remember like clearly when Anne Heche is in the shower, Janet laying it up. Like I'm sure you can clearly see his face in the wig.
Right.
And it looked like so stupid. Like thinking back now, like so, but in Psycho, like Hitchcock's Psycho, you don't see the face.
Yeah.
And it's more of a kind of reveal when you see that the mother isn't alive. So I mean, that's kind of the same bait and switch as what we're getting here, I guess.
Yeah.
It's unusual in the kind of 80s slasher that, you know, it's quite early in the 80s slasher to do that and not have like a defined. I think that's maybe why it didn't stay as iconic.
Okay.
Because even though it had the iconic look of the minor, there's no one really behind it. Because the guy who you think it is, who has the history, it's not him. And then the guy who is really is a bit of a fish character.
Yeah, I feel the motivation for him to do the killings is fairly weak. Because he had seen his father killed by Harry on Valentine's Day. But it doesn't seem to play when that's revealed. The character throughout the film.
Exactly. He's like
character. Totally like he's totally part of the culture, the group.
Yeah,
the group
there's
teenagers,
no like it's not him that's being the aggressor with TJ. You know, like he's kind of laid back about it. And you see them, and they're even, you know, together and being pals and stuff like that. And they obviously still are friends, but they don't have they're pissed off at each other. but there's nothing even like him going on a rager
Mm.
or anything to suggest any kind of. So I think that's what it is. It just doesn't ring true
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
character because they're playing the like what one is it of the two of them. You just don't buy it, you know. And that's why I think it's not like withheld stood the test of time because there's no iconic person that did it.
Yeah. It seemed like at the end they were maybe setting up a sequel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, George. We'll just call him George.
Right.
In 2001, pitched a sequel to
really?
Paramount, I think it was. But because of the poor kind of box office of the original,
Right.
they like said no. But I don't know what that would have involved. But it definitely seems like they're setting up like a. See, that's the thing as well. Like more so in that film than Halloween, Friday 13th, or A Nightmare on Elm Street. There's a setup for a. It's like they're really pushing for a franchise. You know what I mean? Whereas others, like, yeah, there's a kind of unresolved ending.
Right.
Kind of. But they're not like kind of like, we'll be back, everyone. Right. You know what I mean? Which this really felt like.
Yeah.
So it just shows you that they really were, that even at that early stage, they were really ramping up for the kind of trying to emulate what the other films have had. You know, trying to push to get like a kind of iconic villain.
Yeah, I wonder. It seems like it may have paid the price because of all the cuts.
It was to do with George Lennon, I think.
John Lennon. Right.
It was to do with the John Lennon's assassination, I think.
Right.
And again, in that documentary, the intros bits to the deleted scenes, they were talking about he was on his way to the editing studio,
right,
or editing suite, whatever. The first day of editing, it came over the radio that he'd been assassinated or whatever. And it was kind of like a backlash to that. Like there was a big clampdown from Hollywood, and you know, like gratuitous violence, and of course Hollywood were like, oh no, we never liked that anyway.
Right.
You know, the kind of stuff. But I mean, I haven't watched the film with the cuts out, you know, just because we were talking about, because some of them it's like, how did they even know people had died?
Yeah.
You know, because some of the stuff, it's so obvious where it cuts in the Blu-ray because it cuts to like an inferior source. So you kind of think, how did they cut around that and still be clear that someone died?
Yeah.
That's why they have the guy coming out, like, Dave died, Dave's dead.
Right.
Remember?
Yeah.
Like, and who's Dave?
Do you know anything about the condition of the deleted scenes? Why were they?
I think it was because they were cut like before it got to the cinema, you know, like before it was released on theatrical release.
Right.
So I think they were just kind of like chucked, more or less.
Oh, really?
Like from the original negative, then you know, it wasn't included.
Right.
I think they maybe were forced to make the cuts before putting it out.
Right.
So the reinserted footage is maybe from maybe like a first print or something like that.
Right.
Or, you know, maybe like I really don't know where it came from.
Right.
But all I know that it was from a lesser source. But yeah, I mean the cuts were pretty severe.
Aye.
Like, and not really. There wasn't a lot. There was quite a lot cut that wasn't necessarily even. Well, I don't know. Even by then, that's I mean, Friday the 13th standards, it wasn't too gross. I wouldn't have thought.
Mm-hmm.
Although the effects are pretty good and they are pretty realistic for the time, I think. But I don't know, it's kind of their own little mini video nasty scare, isn't it? You know, in the States. But yeah, I mean, that was probably a big hurt for it.
Yeah.
Having like stuff like Friday the 13th and Halloween, even though Halloween's not very goresome, but having like getting it kind of ramped up to a stage, and then all of a sudden this gets kind of cut to shreds and it doesn't have any of that in it.
Yeah.
People maybe just like, oh, that was shit. I mean, I remember watching. I mean, and I know it's one we're going to do very soon, but I Spit in Your Grave when it first came out on DVD here after having been banned, and I bought it, and I'll be honest, I couldn't make it through the first act,
right?
Because because it was still cut. I didn't know it was still cut, but it was just really bad editing, reusing shots, you know, to fill time and stuff like that. And I was like, it just felt like a really poorly made film, and I was really turned off by it. I mean, I was about 16, 17, but I was really turned off by it, and I was like, oh, this, I don't know if I want to, you know, I can't be bothered with this. So that can affect people, and I think especially like in slasher films, if you're not getting the kind of punchline to the gags
Mm-hmm.
or the kills, you know,
Yeah,
it's going to be put people off.
Mm-hmm.
I think. How many boobs did you count in this film?
Yeah,
Gary.
none. Yeah.
It's a theme we're finding. I mean, that's a sidebar, but me and guys been watching a lot of 80s era slasher films recently. Well, a lot. The Friday the 13th films. And there's no overabundance until you get to part 4. You know?
Friday
the 13th.
Yeah.
There's not a lot, an overabundance of.
Yeah,
you know,
the more
things like-
tradition you might have thought.
Yeah, like, I mean, you're talking like 2 boobs a film. And then in My Bloody Valentine, even the
Yeah.
uncut version.
Yeah, you do get the bra. There's kind of random
what,
scene at the
what
start.
is that? That's a bit random, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a good segue onto that.
Right.
But that is, it's a bit random. Just an initial kit. It's kind of like again, that feels a bit forced. Like it's emulating the kind of first. It's not emulating. It's like, how do we come up with a first kill?
Right.
Whereas
Yeah.
again, like Friday the 13th is totally tied into the story. Like it's clearly, you know, it's clear. Halloween's the same.
Mm-hmm.
Nightmare on Elm Street doesn't really have a first kill right up front, but it has a kind of first nightmare.
Right. Aye.
But yeah, it feels kind of forced and chopped in, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you don't really know that to the end because, I mean, it could have been something.
Yeah,
It could have been Harry, I guess.
Aye, that's true. He's
But
come back and he's like,
It ends just up. Oh, Axel was a dick. He was having another.
but how did like, who
Thing didn't
is
mind
she?
me.
Because like, I mean, the town's like tiny.
Yeah. True. Aye.
Not everybody kens everybody.
Aye.
You know. I mean, there's a police emergency in the mayor at his bed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You know what in Mayor Polis or not?
Yeah, there's
the
no
mayor
word
day.
of it. Oh, she died down the mine. She was impaled.
Aye.
Yeah.
You got a sheriff that doesn't ken, like, you know, when he's facing against a murdering miner, that he might want to take his shotgun out of his motor instead of
Right.
just his pea shooter, his 6-shooter. But yeah, that's a bit random, the opening scene. But I mean, don't know. To me, that brings a kind of 80s charm
Right,
to the
okay.
kind of like that. What's this even all
Right.
about? Like, and then they're cooking their dinner in the car, the motor, the engine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And like playing, like they were with all the girls. Remember, like I was saying, like they were
Yeah.
with the girls drinking and stuff like that.
Right.
And then all the guys piss off themselves to like have like dinner cooked on a car engine
Yeah.
and play harmonica. So there was no chance at any like nudity in this film at all. It's like all the dudes just standing about together. I thought the mine itself was quite like cool looking.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think it was used to its full potential, but it was an interesting enough look. I mean, in the remake, you know, I've seen the remake.
No.
Have you? The mine really isn't put to too much use until right near the end.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong about that, but from my memory serves, it's really, and it's not like. I mean, no, that film's not that great anyway. But
One thing I kind of noticed maybe is it's a very kind of polite film in the way that the teens, the kind of characters interact.
you say teens, but we decided that they're
Well-
all teens. No, there's no way they're teens.
No.
It's weird because it's like Valentine's dance, but like, and it's like a kind of school thing, but none of them are teens.
Right.
They all work at the mine.
Well, what about the girls? They might be high schoolers.
I guess so, but
Just seniors or something.
don't know. Nah, I don't think so.
Right. I don't know if it's just like watching it 30 years later or
Yeah.
whatever, but it seems very the banter is very doesn't really
Light.
play. Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, well, there's a bit like where like TJ's like he's obviously pissed off at Axel. Jesus Christ. TJ's obviously pissed off at Axel for stealing his bud while he's been away. And they're at the junkyard when they're cooking the dinner, as I say, on the engine of the car, and he kind of sneaks up behind him while he's playing harmonica, and like you'd think he's going to punch him or something like that,
Right.
but no, he pulls out his harmonica and tries to play at the top of him just to piss him off.
Right, yeah,
and then they
yeah.
kind of smile at each other. He
Yeah.
walks away. The other guy comes out. Like they talk a bit about it, about what we're going to do about this. And it's
Mm.
oh, I don't know, blah blah.
Mm.
And then they kind of have a wee argument. Nothing much. I mean, again, no fisticuffs, nothing. And then Axel walks away. The other guy comes out, and TJ goes, "I really like that guy."
Right.
Like sincerely, like he's like, I can't believe I'm going to fight with him.
Right.
That's what it sounds. You know, it sounds like, oh man,
Yeah,
I really like that guy as well.
Aye.
Like it's such a shame, you know. What's going on? Give him a punch.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it's, you know what I mean. It feels like very kind of like reserved and too nice.
Mm. Yeah, it's stuff like, oh, there's the guy playing pool, and then one of the guys shouts, "Hey, you can clear that table with a broom." It's just like,
And he's like, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's very quaint banter.
Again, I mean, a small mining village, I guess.
Right.
Maybe it's because it's like everybody like you can't really fight with everybody.
Yeah.
So everybody's somebody's brother,
Right,
uncle's Wayne's brother. You know,
Aye.
like everybody's really pals and everybody really wants to fight as well.
Mm.
But you're probably like, I think you'll fight one night, next morning you'll go out for a pint,
Right.
10 o'clock in the morning with them. So, My Bloody Valentine, what are you taking away from it, Gary? What's your key points that you think? What are you going to ponder after
Right.
you're finished with this podcast?
I don't think I'll ponder much.
No?
I mean, seen it, tick it off. I think
Off the
it's
list.
worth seeing. If you're a big slasher fan, you probably get more out of it. I mean, it's got all the major slasher things you're looking for, like
Except for the
final girl. It doesn't.
yeah. And the nudity.
Yeah,
that
it's
you
got
usually don't
like
get.
POV camera.
Mhm.
Get your teen victims. You've got like some kind of past event recurring.
Mhm.
You've got the guy, the older generation, giving them a
The
warning.
doomsayer.
Yeah. You've got the kind of don't have sex or you'll get
Aye.
a chop
Yeah.
type thing. So it's a pretty enjoyable film,
Mhm.
but
It's not going to have any lasting effect on you, but it's
No.
enjoyable. It's a nice enough, good enough ride when you're watching it.
yeah,
I'm the same. I enjoyed it. Well, I mean, from what you're saying, you're not saying you didn't enjoy it.
no,
So, but like, I was going to say I enjoyed it more maybe than you did, but
right,
maybe I got more from it because I'm maybe more of a
right.
slasher freak.
Yeah, the
for that
best
stuff.
bits for me were the cop and the mayor.
Yeah,
police
they were
chief,
funny. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Taken from it, not much. I think I missed opportunity for a kind of more iconic, or maybe like not even missed opportunity. That felt like maybe they were forcing for the iconic killer character guy.
Yeah,
But yeah, fairly enjoyable, worth seeing. Good effects, as I say, it's quite realistic effects for the time. A bit too polite, and not a boob to be seen. So that wraps up our conversation on My Bloody Valentine. Now time for some
Random shit.
Okay, so diving straight into news, Gary.
okay.
Give me some good information.
Did you see the
informative information?
forthcoming Arrow released
Sorry. I did indeed.
titles?
Yes. I can't remember what they were though.
Right.
I can only remember
I've got a list.
the Terry Gilliam film for some reason.
All right.
It's the only one I can remember. Time Splitters.
Many we got 2, 4, 9 titles.
Right. Okay,
Seems like they don't normally release so many.
no,
at a time, do
and they've rejigged the old packaging.
They have a wee bit, aye.
I called that. So
Did ya?
did. They announced before it says that, and the titles won't be all the people will be talking about. They said.
All
And I
right.
posted in the thing like new packaging question.
All right. Okay.
I called it.
Yep.
Right, use it.
So I've not heard a lot of these, I must say.
Right, okay.
But what is it? I've got The Car,
Yeah, I hadn't heard of that one. No.
Runaway Train,
Right.
Time Bandits.
Time Bandits, that's the one Terry Gilliam
Yeah,
film
yeah.
in. So, yeah, you heard of that?
I've seen that.
Is it good?
I didn't like it.
Okay.
Dress to Kill, Fall of the House of Usher, Deranged, The Last American Virgin, Life Force, and Squirm.
I've heard The Last American Virgin, but I don't really know what it is.
Right.
And Life Force, I want to see that, but I don't know who I'm going to pick it up from because Scream Factory are doing one as well.
Alright.
And God, you know, we've been screwed with somebody before, so don't know. I don't fancy the well. The steelbook's nice enough, but I'm not really bothered about steelbook.
Right.
What do you think of the? Have you heard of any of them other than the Terry Gilliam film?
Yeah. Well, Dress to Kill, that's the problem. I haven't seen it, but Fall Out House of Usher, that's one I might be
Vincent Price,
interested in.
isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's Corman directed that.
Oh,
Roger Corman.
right.
Life Force, well, Toby Hooper. That's about it.
There's quite well 3 steelbooks is there at that.
Is it right?
Mm-hmm.
Life
so.
House, Life Force, Fall Out House of Usher. What was the other one?
I think Time.
Time Bandits. Oh yeah.
I think that's the one.
Yeah. Time Bandits is a bit of a weird one. That's it's slightly out of their pure genre stuff.
Yeah.
That it's a bit more kind of comedy fantasy thing.
Right.
That's one that might have went to the Arrow Academy, but they've just made it mainline.
I mean, what do you think of the new packaging?
That's alright.
Sorry, a lot of people are not complaining, but saying that, like they put up Motel Hell's coming as well.
Right, aye.
So that's not part of that bunch though.
No, I think that was before.
But that's the new packaging. Okay. So it is, and they put up today. I think it was like so that's like the 13th. A picture of like they just got a bunch in, and it says just received this and should be shipping soon. With the new packaging, blah blah blah. Let us know what you think. And there was 3 comments, and every one of them says, "Nah, go back to the old one." It's rubbish. Used to be, they were saying how it used to be into HMV, you could spot them a mile away.
Right.
You know, it was easy to find and stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of get that. That's fair enough.
What's the difference?
There's no white on it anymore.
Oh,
it's just like it's like kind of just got the arrow at the top,
right,
on the spine, in the middle, down at the bottom. It's got the bars and the colour bars.
Yeah,
there's no white on it, so it's just the artwork completely wrapping thing. So it's kind of cool, but it's a bit. I don't know if it's maybe a bit pointless. Doing it. I don't know. When I first saw it, I was like, oh well, okay, but
right,
kind of like the Master Cinema stuff, I guess. Look that because they're doing the clear armories and stuff. But I guess it does look maybe a little classier than the white, but it doesn't look as kind of much part of a collection as the white bars do. But yeah, not sure of that.
Yeah, nothing much. I'm definitely gonna
buy it. I'm not saying it'll probably be kind of once come down in price. I said I don't know whether I'll get the Scream Factory. Right. They're doing a lot of titles I'm quite interested in just now. As I said, last time they mentioned The Fog. They're doing John Carpenter's Body Bags as well. You seen that?
No.
It's an anthology type thing.
Okay.
It's nothing special, but it's pretty fun and kind of in the same kind of spirit as Creepshow.
Right.
I'm sorry, I remember watching it when I was a kid. He plays the kind of like the creep in it. So he's actually in it as a character. So it's like the kind of bridges the gaps between the shorts.
Okay.
So it's fun for that. The Howling and stuff like that's coming.
Right.
Maybe we'll pick that up.
Is that the same as Shout Factory? It's just
it's just the horror
leg.
Scream Factory. Yeah. Because they've just released the Burning.
The Burning, yeah.
So what was it you were going to say about
that? Just that it's coming out.
Oh, right, mate.
Yeah, it got a decent review. I think it was 4 out of 5 for PQ. Bluray.com. So
cool. They're also releasing Wes Craven's Swamp Thing.
All right.
You know, but apparently there's something I think I mentioned before, but it's not. It's a cut version. It's like
all right.
I don't know. It's either the international cut instead of the director's cut, or it's vice versa or something. But anyway, it's not the full version or something.
Are they doing Snuff as well?
Are they?
I don't know. Snuff's coming out. Another Video Nasty. I'm not sure if it's them.
I don't know. But they're doing some good stuff. And I've only got 2 of their films, Halloween 2 and 3, and I've no complaints about them at all. It kind of seems like they're doing a similar thing to what Arrow do, but it kind of feels, I don't know, I'm not going to say better, but a wee bit better.
Right.
I don't know, it feels like maybe just the confidence been shook a wee bit with Arrow, and whereas Scream Factory seemed to be bringing out like kind of big hitters.
Okay.
You know, like The Fog and like The Howling. You know what I mean? It's like stuff that you kind of like. Oh, that's quite interesting. That's something that I want to. Me personally, would want to see. You know.
Yeah.
There's another one. Well, there's Terror Train I want to get. I've never seen that.
All right. Yeah.
There's another one, I can't remember what it was. But yeah, they're doing some interesting stuff.
Mhm.
So, there you go.
Did you see Spring Breakers is up for pre-order?
Yeah, I saw that. I think I might get the US one.
Ah, yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, bit of cover.
Yeah, and the extras.
I didn't see that actually.
Right.
I looked ages, like not long after we saw the film, and saw that the pictures were up,
Right.
but I didn't see that it was actually up for pre-order
Okay.
until recently. I never checked the extras. What does it say the extras?
I think it's just I saw it in the forums,
Right.
Bluray.com.
Okay. What's the difference?
There's, I think the UK one only has like some featurettes, but the US has got a commentary. Even.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Actually, no, I did see that. I did see that.
Yeah.
I did see that because I remember. But I was just gonna get it because of the cover art because
Right.
that was the original poster.
Aye.
That kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, first time he does a commentary, and we're not even giving it to us in the
Aye.
UK.
It's is it Momentum Pictures that's putting it out or
Right,
E1?
could be.
I can't remember.
Right.
It's putting it out in the UK.
Aye.
Yeah, we always get screwed over.
Yeah, it's probably a cost thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
Goddamn Video Recordings Act.
Aye. Do you think they'll cut it? The film?
That should be right.
I guess so. Yeah. No, I'm quite excited about that one. It's coming out late. Is it coming out later in the States than it is over here?
Is it?
Right? In saying that?
It's July, I think. Oh, is it? August?
I think it's
August.
July here.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's July 9th, so it is
Okay.
for the American one. How are you getting it?
I had ordered it from Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
but I've switched it to that DVD World USA
Mm-hmm.
because I've Amazon. I'm thinking giving me problems. Customs every goddamn time.
Aye.
Yeah, so I'm done.
Fair enough. That's fair enough.
So
How much is it? Is it dear on?
it's actually just about the same.
So it's like $21, something like that.
Yeah, they're supposed to be more customs friendly, so
Oh right, okay.
which Amazon are not.
I've never ordered from DVD World USA.
Right, and it said like 3 to 5 days or something.
Ah,
So
well, that's...
Amazon's like 3 weeks.
Yeah, aye.
Shocking. Right.
Well, that's good. I'll maybe
Aye.
have a look there because I still want to get Silver Linings Playbook from
Right.
the US as well, so I might order them both.
Yeah, actually, the reason I hadn't been ordering from them was I had that in my mind that they were really expensive, which they are for like Criterions and stuff. But I think general Blu-rays is like kind of
It's much the same.
Yeah, it's much the same.
Well, that's good to know.
Aye.
And give them a free plug.
Aye.
Huh? Yeah, DVD World USA, he's a
Aye.
sponsor. No, that's good. Oh yeah, like it's 50, and it gives you in UK prices as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's really handy.
Mhm.
Like it's $15.99 because you see $21, even though you know it's probably only like 16, 17, you're still like it's 21. It's,
Right.
and that, for me, it's customs every time. I'm like,
Aye.
so that's actually a little cheaper, I think, than
Is it right?
because it's $21.99. So is that
Okay.
not more like 16 or 17?
Mm.
So that's all right. That's good to know. I think you get a ultraviolet copy of that as well, Gary.
Oh, do you?
You do. Do you go into the ultraviolet at all?
I
The
don't really
digital
know what that
copies.
is.
Digital copies, like
Aye. I've used one digital
like,
copy.
you're looking. I don't know what that is. They're like
No,
like-
what's ultraviolet specifically?
it's so it's a proprietary like storage type
Right,
thing where you
okay.
redeem it and it's like online
Right.
and you kind of stream it.
How does that differ from like another digital copy?
Well, digital copy like through iTunes, you actually download the file.
Right,
You can
okay.
keep it in the cloud now,
Right,
but it's
right.
through iTunes.
Oh, okay.
Whereas this is through like a third party, like well in UK it's Flickster on
Right.
the iPhone and such.
Okay.
What
No, I've only ever used one digital copy, and
Right.
I've never watched it
was it?
via that digital copy. Black Swan.
Oh right, okay. Ah, yeah. See, I've got that, and I've got that in
Right.
my iPad and stuff. There you go. That's good. To be a bit of history, there, guy.
Yeah.
What's a digital copy? Cool. So yeah, I'll be definitely picking up Spring Breakers. It comes out. and watching the fuck out of it. That'll be
Right. We're wearing that Bluray out.
good. Aye, that'll be. That sounds so bad. I was just going to talk about the Franco scenes.
Right,
I
aye.
know what you'll be doing, Gary. Because there's like it's pretty cheap for Spring Breakers because
Right,
Silver Linings Playbook. I'm just looking at it, is £19.99.
right.
And it's like $23
Alright.
on Amazon, so that's
Mm.
actually a little
Mhm.
more expensive.
Mm.
But so that's pretty good.
Aye.
Yeah, there you go. I'll not be getting that for there.
Right.
So, anything else, Gary?
That's about
At you, mate? Ah, good. Some news there.
it. Right.
That brings us to the end of the news.
You don't get any news.
No,
Alright.
you stole our minds with
Aye.
Green Arrow stuff.
Oh,
and
aye, okay.
that. What else could I say? What could I say, Gary?
I had written down I mentioned that to you about the 4K discs, the Bluray Disc Association. There's going to be
Tell me about it.
towards the end of the year, they're making a decision about format extensions
Okay,
for Bluray.
right, to extend it to the 4K.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
yeah,
Does that mean they're going to have to make bigger? Well, they can already make bigger discs. I know that they hold more information, but
yeah.
so does that would
I think it means are they going forward at this point in time or not?
waiting? It seems a bit early to jump, doesn't it?
It depends what it involves.
Involves fucking replacing your Blu-ray collection again.
Well,
Isn't it though?
it's too soon for that.
Aye.
If it's something that's effectively the same, it's like something like 3D. You can watch the 2D version.
Mm.
Because it's gonna be a while before people get 4K TVs.
Yeah, that's true. They'd have to make it. Yeah, they'd have to make it backwards
Yeah.
compatible.
I
I guess if it's still staying as Blu-ray,
yeah,
the format, but it's just going to be like you can have a Blu-ray 4K. I'd rather have that than that's something that I might eventually use rather than having 3D copies.
yeah,
You know what I mean? There's a chance I'll get like a 4K TV at some point, but at this point, unless it's for just a cheap big TV, because I've seen to my wife recently, like the 3D TVs, they're all going to be really cheap really soon.
right,
You know, you're going to be able to get like a ridiculous size one for
yeah,
like really cheap because the 3D's kind of going away from, especially from the home. I think, you know.
aye. As an opportunity to kind of rectify some of the limitations of Blu-ray, maybe like with frame rate and stuff like that. If they can do something like that, like higher than 24p.
Sure.
So for stuff shot digitally at 25 or whatever, they can, so you don't have to do an interlaced. You know, at the moment it's a choice between bringing it down to 24 or doing an interlaced 50i.
What you mean native to it?
Yeah, like
Okay,
like,
sorry,
yeah,
right. Okay, native
yeah.
to the right, because like it does like scale to like 50p or
Yeah.
60p if you don't have like a TV that can support 24 frames. So, but I know what you mean, like
Yeah.
native to the so native
Aye.
to the Blu-ray. Aye, yeah, I get what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah, so it'll give just open it up so that like for like passenger on arc and things like that. You know, when it's lower as well.
Yeah.
You know, like open it up to just the full spectrum, like it is on a PC monitor. You know, more or less.
Aye.
I think that's fair enough. It's a fair comment. I mean, it's not a big puller yet. You know, for that alone.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fairly limited selection of
Yeah,
films
yeah.
that would apply to.
But I mean, getting closer to like the perfect home format.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a step that could be taken. And it does mean that like you're gonna, you know, the 4K is gonna, at least it's gonna be exactly, you know, it's gonna be no longer a lossy format, you know, for most things. But yeah, I mean, I'd rather invest their money in that like than more 3D. Like some like IMAX stuff on 4K or 8K even. That'd be okay.
Yeah.
Live with that. Yeah. Good show, Gary.
Yeah.
Good show. Good talk. Again, good news and good talk.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll move on to some pickups.
Sure, Gary.
I've picked up some of these Pixar steelbooks. It's the German is a limited edition series.
Right.
It's quite nice. They've got everyone's got a character's face
Okay.
rather than like traditional artwork.
Mhm.
Which is quite nice. I've got Toy Story, Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, The Incredibles, Ratatouille I've got in the mail, and another one I can't remember. The reason I bought them, they seem to be just about to go out of print.
All right. Really.
Yeah, because I've started on Amazon Germany. I'm starting to just go to marketplace sellers. So I wasn't really planning on buying them,
Mhm.
but they were always pretty cheap, like £11. So it's not bad.
That's pretty good.
They're pretty nice. They do have German text in the back, which is a wee bit no ideal, but better than the old Amory.
Yeah, that's true.
They're kind of similar to some of the Best Buy steelbooks,
Okay.
but like not quite as nice. But Best Buy I don't think did that whole series. It was only a selection that got the Best Buy treatment.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
quite nice.
Yeah, you're really getting into the kind of like staying away from the Amories, aren't you?
Aye.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I also picked up the Batman digibook.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Got that on eBay.
Nice. Much?
How much was it?
You've paid like 60 quid for it and you're
No.
thinking how much to
It was
lie,
a
aren't
decent.
you?
It was decent. It was something 25 to 30.
That's good.
Including the postage.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
remember.
The
Yeah.
US one?
Aye.
Mhm.
See, I don't think it is out of print, but it's weird
It's
because
just like really expensive.
yeah, because you can still buy it from like the Warner Brothers shop,
Right.
the US site,
Much.
$18.99,
Hmm.
but they don't ship to UK.
Right.
So, but it's weird they don't stock it in Amazon.
Mhm.
So I don't know what that's about.
Maybe like a timed exclusive or something. Or maybe it's like a Warner Brothers shop exclusive. And
Maybe,
only,
aye.
Marketplace sales can sell it.
Yeah, so it's quite a nice one.
Nice, eh?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Be good if they did a Batman Returns one.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah.
Aye.
Kind of weird,
Mm,
but that's cool.
Yeah.
I picked up the M. Night Shyamalan 3-film box set of Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and the Signs. Mainly because my wife hadn't seen any of them, so I was trying to show the Sixth Sense stuff. Actually, it was quite fun because she didn't know the twist.
Okay.
The Sixth Sense, she'd never had it spoiled for her, so but she kind of guessed it halfway through.
Right.
So, there you go. Must be like films after that, must have done, that way it kind of clues you in. But yeah, that's all I really picked up this month. Yeah, this week,
Right.
this time. So, bit of pimping. What we pimp?
Okay.
Gary. What's the Facebook, Gary?
It is facebook.com/cinemasubculture.
That's right. What's the email address, Gary?
cinema_subculture@hotmail.com.
That's right.
Yeah, so if you want to get in touch, any questions,
Comments.
yep.
Yeah, feedback.
Give us a shout.
Yeah, so a bit of a kind of crossover kind of episode coming up for me, Gary.
Simon, you're going to be on another podcast.
I might be
Right.
going to be a bit of a kind of adulterous podcast
Right.
here.
A special guest.
A special guest. I'm going to be featured. Well, I'm recording it this Sunday,
Right, okay.
but I'm not there yet.
Right.
But the plan is for it to be featured in the Film Jive podcast. Their episode on Star Trek Into Darkness. They're doing an episode on that. So if you already subscribed to that, or if you haven't heard of it and you want to hear more of me, tune into that. It won't be just me, so don't worry. I don't know when it'll be up, but if we're recording Sunday, I guess maybe the next episode. I don't know, or like maybe the episode after that. Just basically look out for the Star Trek Into Darkness one, and I'll be a guest on that. So we're hopefully doing another one, me and Gary, maybe.
Yeah, we'll
in the
probably
future.
be doing Nymphomaniac. Later this year.
That, yeah. So look out for that. I mean, that's
Yeah, Film Jive's the podcast, and then we do like upcoming, like new releases.
Yes. And they kind of contacted us and nicely offered us to guest on some of the upcoming episodes if we fancied it.
Yeah.
So shout out to the boys over at Film Jive. See you Sunday. So that brings us to the end of another episode, Gary. Pleasure as always.
Right.
What are we looking at next?
It's gonna be I Spit on Your Grave.
OMG, Gary.
Mm,
I just spoke about that this episode.
right,
That's weird. It wasn't planned.
right.
Right. I mean, what's the relevance of that film? You know, what's the big deal about that film, Gary?
It was a video nasty.
That's right. That's
yeah.
right. I'd say almost the
Pretty-
poster child. Like, I mean, they talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre being a bit of a kind of poster child for that, but it wasn't a nasty. So
Yeah.
you know, but this I think is the kind of, as opposed to something like Evil Dead, which was a video nasty but really didn't have any content that warranted it.
Mm-hmm.
This has the kind of content that you
Yeah,
would say warranted having a look at from the video nasty peeps.
definitely one of the most controversial
Mhm.
films probably ever.
Yep. Spawned many an imitator and a remake which I've never seen, but it's apparently.
And there's going to be a I Spit in Your Grave too.
Yeah, I
so.
saw that, and it's not even going to be like a direct sequel. It's just
Right.
it's just going to be called that.
Oh, is it?
And they're
Right.
talking about the epic next chapter in the
right.
Spit in Your Grave fucking trilogy or something. No trilogy, but you know, saga. It's like it's not even related. Like, what? There's no characters from the first film that I can tell.
Right.
It's oh my god! It's like just make another remake if you want
Right.
to make another remake. Fuck's sake. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna be looking at the original.
Yeah.
Good. This is kind of
Should be a meaty episode.
hopefully.
Quite a lot to.
Yeah, a tasty
Yeah.
treat on an episode. We're not that we want to promise too much.
Yeah.
So, we leave you there. Come back next time.